Well, it's the spring of 2023 and back to the deck again. It's finally getting warm enough. It is April 1st, April Fool's Day. I don't know if that's a message to me or something, but here I am. So what I'm going to do today is start pulling this piece of fiberglass and the core beneath out. In order to do this, I'm going to have to take this stanchion out. And that's really the reason I didn't, I moved on to that section last year. I didn't want to start taking the stanchion out at the end of the year. So that's the reason that wasn't done then. And now that it's warm enough, we're going to start. Alright, so I got those screws out of there, bolts, and now I'm going to remove this stanchion, theoretically. Alright, looks like I cocked that on there better than I thought I did. These are the ones I removed to get the boat here because of the height restriction. So I apparently put some pretty good caulking on there. So we'll have to break that free. Alright, let's try this again. Got a bit of a screwdriver here and we'll see if we can pry that off. Maybe not. There we go. Put water in that stanchion apparently. Alright. Alright guys, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut squares out of this. So then I can get it out with the chisel. So I've got this little circular saw set at 1/2 inch depth, which will stop me from cutting into the inner skin. I'm just going to cut the outer skin off, and so I'm all suited up. I'm going to put my respirator on, and then we'll begin. Alright, so now that that's all cut, I can break those pieces out with the chisel. So I'm going to vacuum up some of this dust, and then I'll start chiseling away and removing all the outer skin and the core. So that's the next step. Hey guys, I just wanted to mention something that I've been using for a little over a year now, and I was watching another channel and he was struggling with a small shop vac. The channel I'm talking about is Project Seawolf, and I just wanted to...
Okay, well, I've kind of hit a roadblock. My vacuum, the filter is torn pretty good, and this N95 mask isn't catching all the stuff, and now everything is covered in fiberglass dust, so kind of need that to keep cutting, because every time I cut it throws up this cloud of fiberglass, which kind of sucks.
Project Seawolf, and I just wanted to mention that this has really been useful to me because I'm not using half as many filters for the shop vac. What basically happens is most of the larger dust and debris gets dropped into this this unit, the dust deputy, and it just saves an enormous amount of time, you know, and expense with filters. So you're not having to change the filters all the time, and you don't have that expense either. So after a while, it actually pays for itself. So I'll show you how it works. This isn't sponsored, by the way. This is just something I found really, really useful, and I thought I'd pass it along to anybody that's doing anything similar to this type of work. So I'll show you how it works. So basically, you get your shop vac. It's hooked up to the dust deputy, and the dust deputy is, well, there's your end for the vacuum. So here, really quite effective. Just thought I'd pass that along as a tip. All right, I got all that vacuumed up here, for the most part anyways. And now what I'm just going to do is break out the outer skin. I'm just going to remove that, and probably what will happen is some of the plywood beneath will come with it. But here we go. I'm back to the respirator and making sure I'm protected. I probably should have had the ear protection on when I was using the saw, but I'm just getting back to doing things, so it's going to take me a little time to get everything organized. So let's start breaking that out. I'm going to use a chisel and a hammer, and we're going to remove all this. Alright, so now I've got all that plywood, or at least the majority of it, off the surface. What I'm going to have to do with the rest of it is sand it off. But you'll notice that, and this differs from other parts of the boat, here you can see that no plywood was left behind. So it was like the plywood wasn't completely bonded. Now, I think I mentioned this in a previous video, but I think this might have been a repair. But you can see even just pulling that off of there, I'm just pulling it off with my finger in some spots. So it wasn't well bonded. So as much as the plywood wasn't wet, it wasn't well bonded. So this is another issue, and this is why I'm really recoring the whole deck, because I never know what I'm going to find. So I don't think there's any choice but to remove it all, investigate it, put the Coosa in, which is a permanent fix that's not affected by moisture, and that's the plan. So basically now I have to sand all this stuff off, and even this resin that's on here, I have to sand it down to the point much like this, where you can see actually the fibers from the fiberglass instead of just the resin on top. So I'm going to sand that all away, and That's going to take another few hours. This is why this is such a time-consuming process. There's just so many steps, and I don't want to get it, you know, that it's not done right. There's no point in doing it halfway. So it's just a long process. Hey guys, and I'm now on the other side, kind of opposite side of the boat, to where I was taking that piece off. And you can see here, when I peel away the core, the plywood, the remains of it, stays adhered to the inner skin. It doesn't just peel off and leave voids where there's just resin. You can see it was well adhered all over. That's why I believe the other side was a repair, and I believe in some spots there just wasn't any good contact. So that's why we ended up with those spots where it just looks like resin, and there's nothing like this. So I've sanded all this out now, and it's all back to the fiberglass. Now the resin is there, and I've also ground out the edges, so we've got a nice edge to bond everything to. The next step is to make up a template. I don't have any template material today, so I'm gonna have to go and get some and cut that into strips. So we'll make up the template, and then we'll make up the Coosa. The only issue right now is temperature. As the temperature is still hovering close to the minuses, we're not ready to epoxy yet. So this is just preparation time, I guess, so we can get everything done. And once the weather changes a little bit more, we can get this deck finished. So that's the plan.